What's the Not Your Finest Hour podcast? What is that all? I mean, I've heard stories.
Not Our Finest Hour podcast. One I'll have to check out one of these days when I get a minute to listen to it. I've been told it's not for everyone. I don't know. It's just the general reviews I hear on it, but it has been getting really good reviews.
And I've never personally listened to it, but I have heard it's not for everyone.
I listened to the Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Just great podcast. I've really enjoyed that.
I'm not endorsing anything. From what I said, from what Caleb told me, he said don't endorse anything unless you listen to it first.
I do once in a while listen in, and it's a lot of fun. But I do got to be careful. It is not for everyone.
Caleb Allman is always dropping notes that it's one of the most value-added shows out there.
Of course, through all the Not Our Finest Hour, you guys poking fun at so much different stuff is absolutely killer.
I don't feel any oppression tonight. In fact, I feel very free. The Not Our Finest Hour podcast. Thanks for being here.
Welcome to the beginning of a quick half-hour episode because Chad, as he is plastered all over the internet, is happily away in Costa Rica and apparently not worried at all that someone will break into his house knowing that he is away.
My house is being watched, and if you're listening to this, I'm already back from vacation.
That's true. Well, but I'm saying you put it out there not on this episode.
Oh, yeah. Try and break in. You're in for a surprise.
I always say, people would say, I can't believe you pushed you on vacation. And I would always say, I don't have anything worth stealing.
I really don't. If you want to take the big TV in the living room, fucking good luck. Get it off the wall.
I think that one of the most impressive things about the Mastermind was that they had done the math that it's cheaper to just give away the TVs they use at the booth than transport them. So every time they do a Mastermind, they just give away the TVs.
Did you guys each get a TV?
We did not get any. No, it's like a raffle to anyone that attends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But I thought, man, that is outside the box thinking that we're just going to look at these TVs and we're going to say, it's way cheaper to just buy 2 TVs at every city we go to than try to transport this shit around on airplanes and cars and because it's just they take their laptops anyways and they plug in their TVs at their, there's like there was an LMN sign up thing and they have a couple TVs running and they just give them away at the end. So I was impressed with that move. I thought that was a pretty shrewd move to do that because it's probably 100% accurate and right. So
yeah.
What was your takeaway, Mike, from the Mastermind?
My takeaway I got, and I need to go back into the booklet there, and I thought the second day was much better than the first day, and got a lot on company structure and stuff like that. The first day was mostly mission statement, vision statement, and marketing metrics, which wasn't what I necessarily needed. But the second day with company structure and all that, I found that very fascinating. What was your takeaway, PK?
So I guess I'll eat my words a bit. I felt like it was, so I didn't get I used for discount code Allman to save 25, Allman 25. But I paid $200 essentially to go for the 2 days. I honestly believe the booklet that they handed out, there's far more than $200 worth of information in that booklet.
It's a good thing I got your booklet.
I know. I thought about that when I was leaving dinner last night. I had a good time. I thought there was I'll agree with you. Day one, I'm not a huge, and I'm sure everyone knows this, I'm not a huge mission statement person. It's not, I wish I could get more into that because I think it's valuable. And I think that if you can try to build a culture, but when I look at my business and look at a mission statement, I say to myself, like, the people that work in my business generally have been there for a very long time already. and are entrenched. And we're sort of all entrenched in the things we do. The one thing I will say from day one that my takeaway was when I looked at my company in the regards they were talking about it, I thought about what I valued, and I've concluded from the people that I choose to surround myself with, the two most important things to me as a person and a business owner is trust and loyalty, and the rest of it to me is noise. Because if I cared about things outside of trust and loyalty, I think I would start to struggle with some of our people, because they're all, and I include myself in this. I'm not in any way taking my throwing. I think everyone on our team is in some way a little bit broken, and we all need accommodations, and we all make them for each other because we've all known each other so long. Some of the stuff they were talking about, it just wouldn't. I think if I applied it, I would have to just say to myself, when I apply this form, this kind of structure, I'm going to have to just employ a whole new group of people. But if you want to get to, if your goal in life is to get to 50 million, sorry, go ahead, Chad.
Oh, there's people talking somewhere on the resort. I didn't have anything to
Okay.
say.
All right. So I think that if you want to go to $50 million, if that's what your goal is, to go to $50 million in sales, that the people that you start with will not be the people that you finish with. And like, you're
Those
probably
people
gonna,
aren't still good to you though. Like, do you have to necessarily replace them to go
it,
from
so
Paper King's $5 million to $50 million?
well, here's the thing. You don't, if they keep buying into the culture change. The current culture we have at Paper King, we can never do $50 million.
No.
We need to change the culture. It has to become an efficient, an ultra efficient, lean company where everyone is like in exactly on time and dressed the same and functioning. Like, there's so many changes we would have to make from the loosely based way that we kind of run things now. I One of the things that Mark said was, you can have an inch by inch. I don't know if this is the exact quote, because my brain is not good in big warm rooms with 250 people, but he said something to the effect of, you can have an inch by inch empire, referring to like, and I thought about that a lot for my business, because my business is the epitome of an inch by inch empire. It's like we crawl an inch at a time, because everything goes through me. Every phone call, every decision, everything that happens at Paper King. I actually had I called Christy today and asked her and said, "Hey, like, do you think that if I hired an operations manager so that there was a separation between me and everyone that works here? Because I think that sometimes I've known these people so long that I make poor decisions in regards to a whole bunch of things. But in the end, I think that they would just call me anyways, and no one would trust that person. So,
Did you promote someone to operations manager?
I don't have that
Yep.
person. I don't have that person.
Yeah.
I don't like, I don't have the person that, it's a lot like it, I just don't, we just don't have that. We don't have anyone that would want that. Like, first of all, you need to want that job because it's a lot of headache and a lot of pressure. And secondly, I don't think we have anyone with that personality.
Hmm.
You have to be, that's what I did when I ran Ridge Lake, right? I was the operations manager. Essentially everything went through me, and I was the separation between the office and the owner and me. And so every single decision ran through me. I decided everything, always. But like, to find someone with that personality, that would be a tough gig, I think. And then also, that person has to be someone that all of our staff is predisposed to already trust.
Yeah.
And to find, like, how your staff's been with you a long time. if you put someone in between you and them and said this is the new operations manager, would they even
Um,
acknowledge? Would they even acknowledge that?
some
How hard a
might.
time?
I think there's potential for it to work. I think there's more likelihood of us hiring from within for that position than trying to get someone from the outside for that position and having it stick. Right?
Yeah.
Like I don't think
You
anyone coming in would be the guys would be able to trust them. I think inside, well, the guys have put in their time. Each one of them could maybe do that job if they were willing to polish themselves a little more. So,
Do you think if you did promote somebody that they would step into that role and show more like initiative and all that?
probably.
Yeah.
I think. Well, think about it. I got probably 7 great guys with where else? What else are they going to do with their lives? Like if you want more, there's opportunity for more here.
But do
Yeah.
you have so
So
that's the key right there. Do you want more? Do you of those 7 guys, is there even one of them that wants more? Or are they all pretty satisfied with where they are? Because
no,
the wanting more is the key.
there's a lot of them that want more, but when you say they want more, the first thing is more money, right? So everybody wants more money. You have to massage into them that it is additional responsibilities
Well, I
and
saying that people,
headaches.
yeah. So
And
yeah, I don't think there's anyone that doesn't want more money. So if you took money out of the equation, is there any one of those 7 that just wants more? Not necessarily money,
for themselves,
more responsibility, a chance to get off the tools, a chance to
yeah, I
grow
think
as
so.
to grow as a person, to learn new skills.
I
Like,
think a
is there?
lot of them do, but their personalities sometimes get in the way of what they can be, right? Because
So
some of them are definitely not there unless they're willing to work on themselves psychologically to put themselves in a place where they can be a people manager instead of a brick manager.
right. One of the things I concluded at the 2 days of and so for the record, I would pay the $200 and I would do it again.
Would you go for free? Because I got asked to go for free.
I would obviously pay $200, so I'd go for free.
Would you travel to it?
No,
Oh, okay.
I was
So it would have to be
like,
in
well,
Toronto.
I don't know. Maybe I would. I don't. Maybe I would. I don't know. I've had a deep. So the whole mastermind experience has caused a deep riff in my self as a person, because when you sit in the room with the 200 people and and it was more day 2, because I'm so not a buy-in person. Like, I'm just not. I don't buy into things. I don't buy into mission statements, and it's just not who I am. But then when Mark had the graph up and said, this company for 1,500 man hours produces this money, and this company runs efficiently with doing all these things and produces this amount of money, and the people can get paid more because they're building a better revenue. I don't remember if you remember that, Mike,
Yeah.
but there was the 2 charts, and I'm looking at that chart, and I looked at it for a long time, and I said, am I screwing my people?
Actually, you once told me something along the lines of that, PK. I had somebody on the podcast and I mentioned this to you at some point in time where I thought it was cool. Like they were content with where they were at and they would call it like their lifestyle business and they didn't see any point in growing further than what they were. And it was a small, like maybe two crew company. And you told me that, yeah, that's great. But if you don't grow any further, then you're not giving opportunity to those people in your business and you're not giving them room to grow. Actually, you were the first person to tell me something like that.
Maybe I should have a mastermind. So I do, I agree with that a lot. And like where, but then you also have, I look at the team we have, and to me, they're a fantastic team of people but my emotional attachment to them, all of them. It doesn't matter which one of them it is. Even the newest one who's only been with us, Nick's been with us for 6 months. My emotional attachment to them as people and who they are and their lives, I don't know that I'm the right I'm a person who'll ever be able to run a $10 million company. I don't to do what it takes to successfully do that, to make the really, really hard decisions on staff and have ultra hard, like every person who works for us has some kind of accommodation, you know, and that's okay. As long as they're happy, like, are they getting the opportunities that they want? I think one of the things we did this year that we've never done before was when we did some of those traveling jobs. That was something that stimulated them and got them excited. They all loved it. They thought it was just the greatest thing ever. It was like a vacation. They got their dinner paid for, they got their lunch paid for, they had a hot breakfast every day. They got to someone was making their bed. Like they we got each of them their own hotel rooms in the budget when Jack and I did it, so that they would have their own personal space. Like introducing some different ideas is maybe enough to stimulate that. If the company's not growing, at least we're doing different and interesting things. But like, I guess our company does grow too. Like, I think we're going to have to add a third triaxle this spring. That's going to be something we have to do. I don't know that I'm a person that can do all the things that have to be done to get to the point where you can sell the company, which obviously day 2 was a lot about preparing your company for sale and its value. Which I found interesting because I had never, like, in my whole life, I've never conceived of selling. I've always thought I'll just work till I'm dead. But that being said, if I worked till I was dead, then what mess am I leaving Kelly? Like, what am I like? And that the dismantling of something is I've dismantled a much smaller company before. Like when I split up with Paisley's mom, I dismantled the company. I bankrupted it out. I dismantled it, and the epic amount of work it took to dismantle it. Like, even if you start to think about, even like Mike, obviously of the three of us, I don't mean this in a bad way, but your landscaping company is the smallest.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all.
And I don't mean that, but if something happened, if you got clipped by a car tomorrow and left your wife just to dismantle what you have going on, that would be an epic undertaking for her.
Yeah.
Trucks, cars, machines, dump trailers that are lost.
The government
knows
that's
where
going to
they-
be on your case for
The government is
years.
going to be on. Yeah.
Like,
And that's where, when I was listening to Mark, I was like, maybe this is something I need to do, so that, because the company's not sellable in its current state.
Gotcha.
Mine isn't. It's all just an inch by inch empire that crawls through me. Well, if I'm gone, you can sell the equipment off, right?
PK, were you thinking about this during, or did you think about this after?
I thought about it during and after. I thought about it
Okay.
today. I was spending my day in my inch by inch empire loading hay into trucks because there was no one else to do it. I was like, pretty sure there's probably a better way to spend my time today, but this is what has to happen today. Today I need to be here loading hay into trucks.
Yeah.
Like, it has to happen. We need it done. And I need all 3 trucks running. We have not had a good go. This week is the absolute epitome of pissing in a bottle and drinking your own urine to survive for us. It's just like, there's weeks when you're working and you're just pissing everywhere and you don't care, because there's more liquid coming, and you can just keep drinking and you'll just piss out in the forest. And then there's weeks when you piss in a bottle and keep it between your legs in the sleeping bag to stay warm. And then there's weeks where you're pissing in a bottle and you're fucking drinking it to survive. And that's just the week we've had so far this week, with it being minus 30. Everything's broken, everything's fucked, nothing's gone right, nothing starts. Every airline is frozen, no bins are where it's just fucking horrible. So today I had a lot of time loading hay to. I'm also like, the hay client is a big deal to us. It's our second biggest regular hauling client that calls us all the time. Like, they call us, we just finished emptying all the hay bins in November. They're all full again. And now they have two more hay bins to empty on this property. Like, and I'm like, I don't want these people to think we're like a fuck show. We are a fuck show, but I don't want it to appear like that. And in order to control cash flow, I've been trying to keep the hauling in-house, but even the one broker I hired a broker this week to run some salt, and he pulled out of his yard and his back axle was frozen and he didn't realize it, and he burned 4 tires off, destroyed the brakes in a fucking brake chamber. Like, which I feel horrible for him, because like he didn't even get out of this fucking yard before he destroyed his truck. Like,
A big hole to climb out of in January.
it's a big, yeah, and he can't fix it.
Yeah.
He could come work for me tomorrow, but like, he fixes his truck outdoors. He's like,
Whoa.
bro, I'm from the islands. I can't fix this fucking truck. He fixes his truck. It's minus 30. When it's minus 2, I could do it.
Wow.
I mean, I had a good time at the Mastermind. I'd go again. I wish they could call it something else, because I struggle with that fucking name. It just sounds like a fucking scam to me. But I will say this. So full disclosure to everybody, I was invited to dinner after the first day of Mastermind. I had dinner with the CEO, the new CEO, Mark, the new Mark of LMN. I had Mark from Leanscaper. Mark Bradley was there. I sat right beside them. They asked me why I came, and I told them that the internet and the podcast voted for us to come, and I would do an honest and fair review of my experience. And they both were up for that. They said, "Hey, if you don't have a good time, then tell the world." But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really worthwhile. I thought it was good. I don't think it was there obviously was some sales involved, some top of funnel sales, but I don't think it was an overtly part of it.
No.
It was an underlying theme for sure, but I don't think it was a ramming it down your throat. How did you feel about that part of it, Mike?
Yeah, I thought they did great with that. It would kind of came up organically here and there. It was more than what I heard some people say it was. I heard it like only came up once or something, but it was, like you said, kind of overtly weaved into some of the content that they were talking about.
I thought it was a lot of information to give away for free, and I will say this too: the food was really good.
Yep.
Like, I thought there was really good food.
I will admit, after the first day, I was considering not coming for the second day, but that isn't to say the first day wasn't valuable. If you don't have like a mission statement and you think you need one, and a vision statement, and what were the core values. But I talk to a lot of people on the podcast, and I get a lot of that information anyways. But if that was something for you, then you would have definitely got value out of it.
I would say this information on day one made me think a lot. About stuff that I wish I could get into, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I think it would be better for everybody involved in our business if I was more into those things and could get myself up and into them. I think that would be amazing for our business.
Could you?
I don't think I'm capable of it. I think if someone else did it, I could agree to it.
I think you need a growth mindset.
I don't like that word in particular, but I think I do. I mean, obviously this business has gone from me in a pickup truck to a $3 million a year entity in 6 years. and that's with a big tumble too in the middle. So I don't think I have a problem with growth. I don't I have a problem with buying it. My biggest problem in life is my absolute hatred of authority. And when someone is talking to me and they're trying to teach me things, my brain just shuts down and I'm like, fuck you, I could figure out a better way. And I don't have a better way. I think my way is worse, way worse. But in my brain, I can't, I wish I could. I was trying to figure out if I could stay as the operations person and I could hire someone to do all the stuff an owner should be doing.
What
Is
should an
that
owner be doing though?
I do making mission statements,
Jumping out
like
of helicopters?
core. No, I maybe I don't know. Like
What
I
does an
don't think.
owner do?
Well, I think the owner does whatever they deem to
Oh,
be the most important.
I have it right
But
here.
I think there's also a limiting. I'm limiting the growth of the company by not doing by loading hay all day.
It still needs to get done, right?
Uh,
And if
you,
there's
I
nobody else
agree.
to do it for $30 an hour, then hey, you're
Then
the man, you know?
well, the argument is I should have had someone to do it. I should have hired someone.
In a perfect world, yeah, that doesn't always happen. I've done a lot of shit I didn't want to do because there was no one else to do it.
Well, I do it all the time too. I'm saying that people that have companies that are 15, $10 million, man, they're not loading hay ever.
No, I understand that. But this is where we are right now. I'm still loading the hay.
But how do you become the non like I don't know if I'm capable of being the person who isn't loading hay.
you guys both should be scaling operations, hiring middle management, and automating processes.
Well, that's what you should be doing. Like this is coming from people who built big businesses, man.
I get it. Yeah, I'm sure I do need to be doing all those things. It's just not as easy as it sounds. If that's the stuff you want to take, right? If you want to grow your company.
Yeah, well, that's
It's did they outline how you have to do that? Or do they just tell you that's what needs to be done?
In the
no, there
second
was
day, I liked it because they talked about more about building up your employees and providing them with a career path. I like that because it's something that I'm trying to do with my software side of things is to create some sort of scoring and system around creating a career path for an employee when they start with your business and showing them that opportunity.
I did like I don't know if there was I think it was day two where they were talking about hiring people. That was day two, right? All the hiring stuff,
Yes.
Mike.
Yeah.
The hiring stuff was interesting. I thought it was good. It was an interesting to um because when you're just always hiring a warm body or someone that's available, I also thought that the whole thing about whatever you write in the job description is going to dictate the people
Yeah.
that apply. That if someone who wants a career path sees your job for labor, they're probably not going to be the one that applies unless you word that the right way and show the path. Um, these are all things that I think companies have been doing outside of landscaping for probably a really long period of time. It's just no one's ever, or very few companies have applied it to landscaping.
Yeah.
I I think that if I was sitting where my company is now and I was 30, I would be far more likely to undertake the work and the effort to change it. I think that I need to change some things for sure, just to make my life easier or less stressful or whatever you want to call it. But, uh, but see that like this is literally my, like I just got a text first a guy texted me and said, I'm not plowing snow now. It's just assaulting, so I'm available tomorrow to load the hay. So I scheduled the whole day around him being there to load the hay. And then he just texted me at 8:58, hey, I just got called in to plow. Which I'm like, there's like no snow on the ground and it's like shiny and it's like raining or something. It's not even like it's cold, but it's not snowing. And I'm like, okay, well, that just fucked my whole plans for the day. Like my whole day is fucked now. But that's I created that situation because when he said he was available, in my mind, I was new. If I schedule this and I build this day around this motherfucker coming, I can almost guarantee 100% that he's going to get called to plow snow. And if I ignore this situation and just make a plan without him, he'll be sitting at home doing nothing, but at least I'll be operating under the plan that I had that didn't include him. I've reached a point in January this month, where I feel like every single decision I make is wrong and I should just do the opposite of it. Which I've been in that place before with the business where I'm like, I need to start doing the opposite of what I'm thinking. I have literally woke up one day and say, whatever I think today, I'm doing the opposite of it, no matter what it is.
It's tough in January and February because everything is frozen all the time, and no matter what you do, it's the wrong thing. Every dollar you chase is a step backwards in January and February.
I agree. I've actually talked to Kelly a couple times since the 1st of January saying like, my goal is to just put enough money in the bank that I can just literally lock the doors and do nothing for 3 months and not even think about this business.
Yes. Well,
Like,
I mean, it's tough with trucking, but yeah.
I don't think it's that tough. Like, well, yeah, because your clients are going to call and you're not going to be available, and they're going to start calling someone else. And that, so there's a whole bunch of. You're right. There's a bunch of riders to that make it hard. But I'm like.
But everything besides the trucking, maybe like maybe the landscape.
But it's the trucking that's causing the fucking headaches, man. Like, it's just like.
Yeah.
But it's like if we don't go move this hay right now, which the hay client is an extremely valuable client who pays their bills, has tons of repetitive work. And the hay contract is growing. It's not getting smaller. Originally there was 1 hay bin. Now there's 4 hay bin. Well, 1 is a double bin, so there's 5 hay bins now to empty every like 6 weeks. Like this client is growing aggressively with the hay.
You must have been to a mastermind.
I guess.
A hay mastermind.
A hay mastermind. It's like so if I wasn't running in the winter, if we were doing nothing, do I just walk away from the hay client? Because they're going to call someone else. The hay still it can't stay there till I decide, like it needs to leave. Like their facilities need to function and the hay can't stay. They're like, so I don't know. I will say that the mastermind was good if you have a chance to go to that one in particular. I am not saying this for all masterminds. Because even when I was sitting with the two of them and they asked why I came, I told them directly, I said, my problem with masterminds is I think that people aren't giving out enough information. They're just jamming people in the top of a funnel and they're sending people away with a dangerous amount of information that can negatively impact their lives. And if they had never attended, that they would never have had that little bit of information that fucks up their life in a big way. And both of them said, that's not what we're trying to do. And I said, I totally agree with, like, after day 1, which I agree with Mike. I didn't enjoy it as much as day 2. It was still a good day, but not, I said, after day 1, I totally agree. That's not what you guys are doing with this event at all.
Yes.
And they're giving you a booklet that's full of information. And, so I that's not what this event was at all. It was a well-run professional event. So
are we going to resell those booklets on our website?
I've got an extra one, so I'm trying to recoup my cost in my mastermind and sign up. So that's for sale for $200. Promo code Almond saves you 50.
promo code. Also, just as a highlight, I finally got to meet Brian from Brian's Lawn Maintenance. I don't. Did you guys meet him at Equip?
I met him the previous year. We saw him in passing at H&A, me and Chad.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I enjoyed the time I spent with him. He's as advertised, direct.
As advertised.
Yeah, so I had a good time with Brian. I enjoyed his company. I would have liked to spend more time with him at the second night at dinner, but I had to get pee. So duty called.
Duty.
Duty called.
How's Costa Rica, Chad?
It's beautiful.
Yeah?
It's warm and sunny. I burnt myself to a crisp today. The food's great. People are nice. Everything you want out of a vacation.
Nice. Did you go fishing?
No, I think I'm gonna just stay at the resort this week. We got a couple days left, so
Nice.
gonna park it and marinate, and yeah, just soak it in before
When do you guys come home?
come home Monday.
Monday.
But our flight doesn't land until 11:45 or something if everything's on time. So it'll be a long day.
And then you got to drive home from Montreal.
And you gotta drive, yeah. So we land at 11:45 and then customs. One thing I will say about Costa Rican customs, you get off the plane and through customs within 10 minutes. Like, it's a mind-bogglingly quick process. It's
That seems like the kind of place I want to go.
yeah, it's phenomenal. The customs people are super nice. Like, she didn't ask us one question. What are we doing here? Anything like it's just, oh great, enjoy Costa Rica.
They must have
What's
been
your
a
daughter name?
mastermind.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Customs mastermind.
yeah, it was awesome. And then 10 out of 10 would recommend Costa Rica if you've never been.
Nice.
I've never been. I'm thinking that maybe we're going to Dominican in March.
My in-laws are in Dominican right now.
Are they?
And I have friends in Cuba right now and some in Florida. Everyone's vacationing. But apparently with the polar vortex, it's like 20 degrees in Cuba and it's like snowing in Florida right now.
Yeah, 7 inches of snow in Florida right now.
7 inches.
One day in office, and Trump fixed the fucking.
Climate.
It only took him one day to fix climate change. That motherfucker.
Wow.
He's all business. One
Wow.
day. So,
And how many years of our climate tax have we had here that couldn't do it?
it hasn't fixed anything.
Haven't fixed anything.
Nope. All right, Chad, that's your half hour.
That's it.
That's it. I'm watching the clock. Go back to drinking and partying, Chad.
Oh, I'm going to bed after this.
You're going to bed.
Oh yeah.
It's
you have a little
8:15.
one.
A little wet.
Well, you have a little one that probably gets up in the morning.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And she's ready to go and do stuff, right?
She's ready to go. She spent all day yesterday terrified of going on the water slide here. I finally convinced her to go on the water slide. Now she won't leave the water slide. She spent 3 hours going down the water slide, then up the steps, then down the water slide. She made a friend. They're going up and down the water slide. So
That's what vacation's about.
yeah. But then I can't leave the water slide.
You're conquering the water slide.
water slide the whole time.
You're conquering the water slide.
Yeah. That's
You
it.
got to pay out. I'll tell you, you got to pay off a lifeguard.
Pay off the lifeguard. He's sitting at the
That's
top. The Costa Rican people are so carefree. He just looks down at the bottom of the slide, go. And then he's letting kids go 2 at a time, 3 at a time. They're getting to the bottom of the slide, kicking each other in the head when they get off. Like, I got to be there to watch to make sure my kid gets out of the water and doesn't drown.
First time we went to Jamaica, there was like a water park, and there was a whole bunch of. They had a nighttime lazy river,
Ooh.
and I
Nice.
thought that seems kind of dangerous. I don't know the level of lifeguard in here, so when we dropped the kids off because the adults weren't allowed at the lazy river nighttime, I I found whoever looked like the most important lifeguard, and I shook his hand, and I think I gave him $100, and I said, "If there's kids that drowned here, it's not those two kids." And he said, "No problem." And then for the rest of the trip, a lifeguard followed those two kids everywhere they went. Now I was only paying him for the night, but he made it the whole week. So
Nice.
yeah, we're actually still good friends with that guy. If we go to Jamaica, he takes us on all our outings and takes care of us, and so we're still friends with him today. That's like 9 years ago now, I think.
Wow.
We went. So yeah, it was a well spent, whatever it was, $100, whatever. And the kids did not. Those two kids do not drown, bro. I don't care. Do they use American money in Costa Rica? Is that what you tip
Yep.
with?
Everywhere uses American money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, go back to vacationing, Chad.
Will do.
After this, for our worst hour, we're going to hear our Landscape Ontario talk.
Oh,
That was a
podcast.
terrible episode. So
Yeah, so that's the worst hour.
it's a worse hour.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's worse. Yeah. Don't play it on Friday. No one will listen on Saturday.
Yeah, it's our first in-person together interview or podcast.
It is our first. Yeah. How did the sound come out?
I don't know. I haven't listened to it yet, but I did realize that the sound pads, I didn't have the sound pad volume on. So the sound pads didn't work when I was touching them.
Oh, you were making the
Applause and cash register and stuff.
You were trying to upgrade to an almond board.
Yeah. Got a learning curve there.
Yeah. Next time. Live from the Cooper Rentals booth. What are you calling this episode?
Hey, Mastermind. I wrote that down.
Hey, Mastermind. The mastermind of the hay. So, all right. I got to eat and go to bed.
All right, guys.
Have a good night. Enjoy Costa Rica, Chad.
Will do.
That is the end of the episode.